Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I hope everybody's staying safe and taking care during these really crazy times that we're all seeing all over the world. Firstly, I would just like to tell all our attendees, please keep yourselves on mute if you haven't already. My name is Pranali and I'm from the Broadcast India show, organized by Nürnberg Messi India. And I would like to extend a warm welcome to all of you attending our webinar today on demystifying broadcast audio. I would like to first thank our partners for the session today, Infonet, Shure, and Alan and Heath for their support in putting this together. Let's get right to it, and let me start by introducing our speakers for today. We have Mr. Rohit Reddy, who is the Senior Product Manager at Infonet, and he will be joined by Mr. Jayakaran Samuel, Senior Live Sound Manager at Infonet. Before I hand over to Rohit, a few pointers for all our attendees today. For optimized viewing, we would request all of you to refrain from using the Zoom platform options when the presentation and the videos are being played. We would request you to please keep yourselves on mute throughout the entire session. We will have a Q&A session at the end of this entire round by Rohit and Jayakaran. So please put your questions in the chat box and we will get to them once Rohit and Jayakaran have finished their sessions. Yep, Rohit, over to you.
Thank you so much. Hello, everyone. So let me first share my screen. So, hi. Hello, everyone. Hi, my name is Rohit. I work for Sun Infonet as a Senior Product Manager, based in Mumbai. Sun Infonet, we are the pan-India distributors for Shure microphones, Allen and Heath consoles, My Sound audio focus, and Quest speakers. We are headquartered in Delhi and headed by Mr. Neeraj Chandra, who is our director. We have got service centers in New Delhi, Mumbai, Chennai, Kolkata. And when it comes to the service, we have, service has always been our focus. We have got close to around 7 application engineers spread around the country, where my colleague Jay is on the same line with me. He's going to present Allen and Heath brand of mixers to you, where so we have got around 7 people in the country. We have also got an application person exclusively in Bangalore. Service has always been our, our main priority and the focus. Even during this pandemic, there were situations where our service team had to make few visits to a few broadcasters around the country and, help them to solve, help them get over the situations or problems. Little introduction about, so I myself am Rohit Reddy and I've got Jayakaran. I'm here to speak about a short range of products, briefly about Axiom Digital, PLEX, the Motive MV88 Plus, and the VPH, whereas Jay is going to talk about the SQ and Avantis. Widely accepted brands, brands and models in the broadcast in the industry. So we all know that the demand for more and more number of microphones is increasing day by day, whereas in the other side there is a constant shrinking in the spectrum. And as per the latest news from the telecom regulations of India, the telecom ministry is actually planning to auction the 700 megahertz, which falls under our UHF band, where we were till yesterday using these, this band to, for our microphones. But very soon we would be no longer be able to use these microphones. So spectrum being a major concern and the number of, the increasing demand for the wireless channels, we need a system which is robust, smart, and, to handle this kind of situations. That's where the Shure Axiom Digital System comes into play. Shure Axiom Digital System is the flagship system by Shure. Let's quickly move into the main features of the system. The Axiom Digital has got 2 sets of transmitters. One is the AD and the other is the ADX transmitter. Both the transmitter ranges works with the common receiver, uh, and it is available in form factors both handheld and body pack. We have also got a micro body pack in the ADX segment. To tackle the spectrum shrinking, uh, we have got a huge tuning bandwidth. All the Axion, both the Axion receivers and the transmitters have got a tuning bandwidth of 184 megahertz. And it's very efficient. It's spectral efficient. That when I say that, that means you can actually have 63 channels of wireless microphones running simultaneously on 8 megahertz bandwidth. Uh, when it comes to the battery management, the Shure has gone their own lithium-ion rechargeable batteries, which can work with both the AD and the ADX set of transmitters. The key features, as I told you, there are two set of receivers. We have got a quad receiver and also the dual receiver. The reason why the system, it delivers four important, four strong points. One is the RF protection, audio quality, command and control, and hardware scalability. So when it comes to RF protection, the Axion Digital offers a true digital diversity. And we've also got quad diversity, where it is only locked, this feature is only available with the quad channel receivers. In the regular, with the regular microphones, you only have two antennas going into your receivers, that is antenna A and B. But with the quad diversity feature, we can actually connect the system. They can have four antennas going into the receiver. It has got a very huge tuning bandwidth, where managing your inventory and such becomes really easy. You don't have to break your heads for to actually understand how many channels of how many maintaining your inventory in terms of which band to buy, what products to buy. So it comes on. There's only one band in India which we are actually that's G56. That's the only band which we're actually supplying, and that is from 480 megahertz to 636 megahertz. It's petrol efficient, as I in the previous slide, as I told you that you can actually have 63 simultaneous channels in 8 megahertz. So it's very spectral efficient. So even if the spectrum is actually shrinking, it should not bother us too much, because you can accommodate close to around 500 microphones in that simultaneous channels with that wide tuning bandwidth. The most important, as the bandwidth, keeps, as the spectrum keeps shrinking, and there are the demand for the more number of simultaneous channels, we are very open, and we are, we are very prone to, system, RF interference and, RF interference. So we need a system which can actually detect this interference, and if possible, it's a luxury to if the system could take care of the interference by itself. Whereas the Axion Digital exactly does this job, especially when you talk about the interference detections. Both AD and the ADX set of transmitters are capable of doing this interference detection. But when it comes to interference avoidance, that's when the ADX comes into the play. In the next slides, we will know deeply about what are the hardware dependencies of having an ADX system. But moving to audio quality, this being a digital system, it has still got an ultra low latency, that is less than 2 milliseconds, and being the modulation is completely before the signal being sent modulated to RF. The system the audio is completely converted to digital. So there is completely the audio is very transparent, and on the back panels, actually, you can actually see that you have the AES outs, and you've got the digital outputs both in terms of AES3 EPU and also Dante. So if someone wants to directly plug into their consoles, they can actually get the Dante. They just need a Cat5 cable and just straight away connect your receivers directly to your consoles. This being a digital transmission offers encryption, which these days is a very primary requirement for for corporate companies where they want the signal to be encrypted, and it has got a wide dynamic range. Simple reason, because it's again digital, so there is no loss of, there's no companding, so there's no compression and expanding happening between the transmitters and the receivers. Command and control is one of the, it's actually a very important thing right now. That's when I talk about the Shure wireless workbench. It's completely a free software. Everyone could just go to the Shure site and download the wireless workbench. The uses of wireless workbench is actually used to manage your inventory, frequency coordination, get your frequency coordination done, and also monitor the Shure gear. Apart from that, we have got a mobile application, that's the Shure Channels Plus, where you can actually use this to monitor and also remote control your transmitters and receivers. Shure Link remote control, this is exclusive for the ADX, where you have got the luxury to actually control your transmitters when during the show, and this happens both with Shure Plus channel, Shure channels or the wireless workbench. Apart from that, we have the Dante Q and the Dante Browse. So I'll tell you a little about Dante Q or the Dante Browse. So when you actually have many simultaneous channels, when we talk about running at Dante, and you guys can see that there is a headphone jack and attenuator. When all these receivers are networked together, with when your headphones are plugged into single receiver, you can actually browse to every channels which are connected in your network. So this gives you a luxury, so you don't have to keep changing your receiver racks from one receiver. You can actually listen to every microphone which is connected in the chain in the network. When it comes to the Dante Browse, not only the receivers, when you connect your headphones through these receivers, you can also monitor other Dante streams which are in your network. Like, for example, if there is anything coming up, any playbacks coming via Dante, DVS from your laptop, or if you have a Dante console, maybe Alan and Heath connected through Dante, you can also listen through those channels, which are actually, those channels through this Dante ports. Next is network charges, network charging stations. With the Shure lithium-ion batteries, no more, you're stuck with, these battery bars where people would actually assume, okay, I've got 2 battery bars, so my system could run for 1 hour or 2 hours. By using these lithium-ion batteries, now you'll exactly know what would be your runtime of the transmitters, or how many cycles your battery has gone through, what is the time left for the battery to be fully charged, and information such. All these informations can be, you can monitor all these informations from the Shure wireless workbench application. When it comes to the system scalability, we have got 2 sets of receivers. We've got the dual and the quad receivers, where only the quad offers the quadversity feature, where you can have 4 antennas coming in to your receivers. Both, the receivers are compatible with both set of transmitters, that is the AD and the ADX transmitters. And optionally, we have got the DC module, where, in the broadcast, where, you have these receivers on your, sound cards. Then you can actually opt in for a model which has got a DC in as well. So you can power that using a 4-pin XLR. And again, it's 184 tuning bandwidth, where, so you can have many channels running simultaneously, and there's no need of actually choosing different bands. Moving to the ADX series transmitters, as I told you, this has got 2 important features. One is it not only detects an interference, but also avoids it. So when it avoids it, it seamlessly jumps into another carrier frequency. And there's another important feature what ADX offers is the remote control of the transmitters. To have these, to experience these two features, you also need, there are a few other dependency hardwares which we so called, but a part of Shure, the same manufacturer. If you guys can see a blue screen, that's actually a spectrum manager. The main job of the spectrum manager is to find backup frequencies and constantly real time keep checking these backup frequencies if they're still have to, they're good enough to actually use them in term, when you have a problem. On the top, where you actually see two antennas popping out of a device, it's actually the AD610, which is also called a show link. So the main job of the show link is talk to the transmitters. So that's how the remote control of the transmitters is actually possible. When it comes to the batteries, as I was telling you about the lithium-ion batteries, the AD version can be run with both lithium-ion batteries or the regular AA size batteries. But when it comes to the ADX series, they run only on the Shure lithium-ion batteries. Simply for two reasons: that when you have the top-of-the-line system, when you have a system which is which can handle your frequency interferences and stuff, you don't want a system to run out of, you want the battery stability as well. Because the ADX transmitters are actually, there is a two-way communication happening constantly. The transmitter is talking to two devices. The one is the receiver and the other is the show link. Managing the battery, you need a higher capacity battery to do this job. So every ADX transmitter you buy, it ships along with two batteries. So you don't have to purchase batteries separately. When it comes to the charging stations, we have got a rack mount charging station, which is the SBRC charging station. And individually based on your inventory of transmitters, you can choose these, the modules, the charging modules of which goes inside the SBRC. Apart from that, we have got the SBC200, which is a two-way docking charger, where got the SB240, where it is again a two-way battery charger, but it's a network, and you can remote, you can monitor what is the cycle, how many, what are the cycles of the battery, what is the leftover time for charge and stuff. We have got the SBC800, which is again an 8-way charger, where you can directly put in the the SB900 batteries. The good part about the SB900 batteries are, these batteries are compatible with the complete range of AD, not only the Shure Axion Digital, but also the other models like the ULXD, the QLXD, the PSM series. So the batteries are common for all the Shure range, except the ADX. The ADX have got the separate batteries with a higher power, so that there's too much of communication happening with the ADX range. So that's about the Axion Digital. Let's quickly move to our next product here. That's the Shure TwinPlex. Shure TwinPlex is a premium sub-miniature omnidirectional lavaliers and headsets made by Shure. They're again the premium, the flagship lavalier microphones and headsets by Shure. It's a dual dyne lavalier microphone. What does that mean is it has got two diaphragms. It is one of the, it's the first dual dyne microphone right now in the market. And the PCB is actually sandwiched between two diaphragms. The reason why they've chosen to have two diaphragms is because to improve the off-axis, off-axis pickup, and so that the pickup is very accurate and consistent all over the microphone. It's completely an omnidirectional microphone. Where the other part, other than the microphone or the capsule, is the cable used for this microphone. It's completely a medical grade cable, and it is moisture and sweat proof. And it has got a dual redundant ground, so it's shielded, so it does not, the cable is very silent. There is no it doesn't have any sounds. The cable is the microphone is very silent, and it doesn't have any kind of memory effect. And we have got two versions of the cable, completely paintable. One version is the 1.1 mm diameter of the cable, and the other is 1.6 mm cable. It went through a very, a very dramatic and a durable test. One is the flex testing, where the cable is being tested, number of times, maybe close to around 10,000 times of bending, stretching, with weights hanging. You can see on the picture on the left-hand side. Not only that, when it comes to the capsule, it has also gone through a sweat test where the microphones. It's gone through a sweat test, and the outer cap of the microphone has got a super hydrophobic coating, so it's a sweat resistant and sweat proof. So it's very reliable. We'll also watch a few videos about there's a video on the next slide, so stay tuned for that.
In dialogue or monologue, song or speech, a single word can affect the whole story. Through sweat, noise, and wear and tear, your little lavalier has an enormous job to do. Shure TwinPlex stands up to the toughest conditions to make every word a clear statement of quality.
Sorry?
Natural flat high frequencies and robust low frequencies. TwinPlex innovative dual diaphragm captures the complete weight of your voice. And the patent-pending capsule design maximizes effective surface area in an easy-to-conceal package. So sound suits performer, not the other way around. Fully paintable, TwinPlex is immune to kinks and cable memory effect. Dual redundant grounds are designed with spiraling tinsels that maintain contact with the copper stranded shield throughout the cable, delivering unprecedented flex and strength. TwinPlex frequency caps feature an invisible super hydrophobic nano coating that repels sweat and moisture, preventing corrosion and theater sweatouts. So your lavalier rises to the challenge night after night. TwinPlex dual diaphragm lavalier microphones integrate seamlessly into any pro audio system, offering a comprehensive array of connector, color, sensitivity, cable, and mounting accessory options. Meeting a multitude of conditions, backstage or onstage, show or speech. TwinPlex premium sound quality and solid durability serve every performance at every stage.
So that's TwinPlex. It's very robust, sweat resistant. The cable is strong. And these are the models available, the TL45, TL46, 47, 48, the TH. So it's TwinPlex lavalier 45, 46, 47, 48. And TH is the headset, 53. The basic difference is, as I told you, with the cable diameter. So TL45 offers only 1.1 mm the diameter of the cable. So if you want a cable which is very thin, so that's the that's the microphone. That's the lavalier, and all the other models have got 1.6 mm. They're completely paintable, so you can paint it if it has to go with your prop. Then you can actually paint it. When it comes to the connectors or the terminations, we have got all the options where the TL47, we have got the limos, the MTQGs, the M dots, XLRs, or you can also opt for a version which has got no connector, so you can use your own connector if you're if there's any specific connector. So you can use it for that. Colors we have got with white, tan, the dark tan, and the black. When it comes to the sensitivity, we have got one microphone, that's the TL46, which is the high sensitivity microphone, completely used to if there is no sound reinforcement in the there's no sound reinforcement, then that's the go-to microphone where the TL46. And also not only that, the TL48 is a little different microphone when it comes to the sound signature. It is more a speech tailored lavalier when it comes to the broadcast. And if there is a situation where you put this microphone inside, stick it inside the costume, so this microphone is the right one. So there is it's apart from that, we have got the accessories, so you can choose the TL47 and the TL48. With the TL47 and the TL48 models, you can choose the accessories, whether to buy with the accessories or without the accessories. So with the accessories, we also get the frequency caps. So you don't have to buy a different microphone for speech tailored. If you want a frequency response to be speech tailored, or if you want a natural. So just by changing the the tip of the cap of the lavalier, you can alter the sound signature. So we have got a presence cap where it becomes speech tailored, or we have got a flat response where it gets natural sound. So that's the TwinPlex. Let's quickly move forward to the Shure Motive MV88 Plus video. With the pandemic and the more and more demand for vlogging, YouTubers, and mobile journalism, Shure has got a very lovely device. That's the MV88 Plus video. What does it have? It's actually a professional quality condenser microphone, which can be plugged directly into your mobile phone. And it has got two microphones actually placed in mid-side configuration. And you can completely control this microphone from the Shure applications. We'll talk about the applications where you can choose the polar pattern, or exactly tell the microphone what you're recording, like if you're recording guitars, or if it's a interview, or if it's a dialogue, any such. And the best part is this microphone has also got a monitor out, so you can actually real-time monitor what is actually being recorded, so you're confident enough about what's being recorded. These are the video accessories which come along with the kit. You get a windscreen, a foam windscreen. You get the microphone, the MV88 Plus. You get two sets of cables. One is the lightning cable and the USB-C type cable. You also get a mic clip, a phone clamp, and a Manfrotto tripod. So all this are included with the pack. And if there is a situation where you are, you're going for an outdoor, shoots, and where there is, windy places. So we have also got an extra, add-on accessory, which is the Roycoat wind jammer, for the MV88. This is not included in the box, but if someone is interested, they can actually make a separate purchase. On the right side is a general overview of how the application, the Shure application, lets you configure your microphone as per your requirement. So the first one is whether to lock or unlock it, so that you make changes to the application. The number 2 exactly tells you whether you're presently on the record mode, whether you're recording something, whether you're online, or something like that. The third one, the third tells you exactly the audio meter, so it'll exactly tell you the audio levels of your mic picking up the sound source. The fourth is the microphone gain. So by changing this, you can actually change the gain of the microphone. The fifth, number 5 is actually the presets. So if you're choosing, if you want to record a flat, without any presets, a flat frequency, then you can actually, or if you're choose that, if you're recording a dialogue, or if you're recording group vocals, then you can actually choose. If you're recording a guitar, then you can choose an instrument. So you see all those presets already there. The sixth, number 6 is actually choosing what kind of a pickup do you want, because the polar pattern of this microphone, you can change the polar pattern of this microphone as per your application. Not only the polar pattern, if you're actually picking up stereo, you can also set the width of this capsule or the microphone. The number 8 is more features, like if you can add you can also add a compressor or a limiter or a high pass filter to the system. Whereas in the 9th is actually the tab where you can switch between your recordings and your live recording, your list of recordings, and your features. These are the Motive video recording, video app, and the Motive mobile recording apps are the 2 apps available free of cost, and you can download them. And actually, so these are the apps where helps you to actually configure your microphone. Whereas the Motive video app is actually an application where you can actually using your mobile camera, you can actually shoot using these Motive range of microphones. There's a small video on the MV88.
The MV88 Plus video kit is a professional quality portable microphone with included accessories for audio and video and flexibility to connect to additional devices. Choose from the following creative setups: videography, self-recording, audio capture, or field recording. The included phone mount is also compatible with any tripod with a 1/4-inch connector. Monitor your recordings with a dedicated headphone output and use the free Shure Motive Audio or Motive Video apps for complete control. Simply select how you want the mic to behave, set your gain levels and press record, then edit and share in seconds. Your new mobile recording rig directly connects to any Apple device via a Lightning connector or via USB-C to select additional devices. See shure.com/motive compatibility for details. The MV88 Plus video kit is a creation for creators. Just add phone.
So with this,
The MV8.
So with this, we move to the last part of our Shure presentation. That's the Shure VPH. It's actually a long microphone handle made for on-camera interviews and such. VPH is just a handle. It does not have any microphone on top. Whereas this is completely designed for if there is a situation where you're in a stadium or in a in a harsh RF environments where you're not able to use your wireless microphones, you can very quickly get the capsule off your wireless transmitters and directly plug into this VPH, and this completely turns your wireless capsule to a wired microphone. We have got a wide range of capsules available for this, and this needs phantom power, so you can directly connect to your camera and just turn on your phantom power, and it's ready to go. There are a few other accessories to support this VPH. We have got various cartridges. There are other cartridges as well. So you've got the journalist or the speaker has got the the luxury to actually choose kind of cartridge to exactly their applications. Apart from that, we have got a WS653, which is actually a flag extender. So you can add this component and the size of the microphone, to increase the size of the microphone so that you can, add your flags to it, if you're. And apart from that, we have got a modular mute switch, UAMS, which can again go into this VPH microphone, and this becomes a switch to mute and unmute your microphone. This is a video to explain how exactly this microphone functions.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to S-Tech. I'm here at AES 2019 in the Shure studio with Laura Davidson, who does market development for Shure. And she's going to talk about this product that I'm holding in my hand right now. So I'm going to hand it over to Laura.
Thanks, Tony. So this is our VPH. So it's actually the handle that we're going to be talking about. And it lets you take a wireless capsule and convert it into a wired microphone. So why is that handy? Well, if you're out in the field, you're on stage, a battery goes down in the middle of the gig, or you lose some wireless signal, unscrew your capsule from your wireless, put it onto the VPH, add some phantom power, and you're good to go. So any wireless capsule can be converted into a wired mic with the VPH. Yeah, it's also nice and long, so you can use a flag extender. So you could do like your own little P.E. Schmidt tech talk thing right here. Yeah, so that's that.
As always, thanks for watching.
Hope you learned something.
Right. Thank you so much for patiently waiting through all my presentation. Now it's time that I hand it over to my colleague Jay, who is going to take you through the Allen and Heath set of mixers or solutions we have to offer you guys. Thank you so much. Over to you, Jay.
Thanks, Rohit. Thank you, guys. And so what do we do when there are more microphones? So where do we connect it to is where I come into play. So when you have more microphones, is you need a console, obviously, to mix all these microphones together. So without much delay, I'll just go into sorry, 1 second. yeah, so I think you guys are able to see my screen. So so this is where Alan and Heath comes. So just to give you a little brief about the brand as such. So it's based out of UK, Penton Cornwall, and it's a 50-year-old brand known for their warm Brit preamps. So people who are into mixing, live broadcast uh, have at least once or the other you would have had your hands on one of these consoles. So yeah, and also we are part of the big family of from Audiotonics. So Alan and Heath is part of Audiotonics as well. So that's a little brief about the brand as such. So I'm before moving into my the product as such, I'm just going to give you some brief up about how the broadcast audio has evolved over the years, because people who have been into analog and now over the last like 10-15 odd years it's been completely digital, but we can never forget the past of how we have all traveled through with the broadcast industry as such. So broadcast audio over the years have evolved completely, right from your MTS, your multi-channel television sound, to stereo, to now it's become 5.1, 7.1. People listening have become completely different, right from the days where it used to be all analog and your stereo audio as such. So what do we do when it comes to when the quality of listening actually upgrades? So it's where we start is when the audio that we need to give in also needs to upgrade as such. So that is where tools like these, say your microphone and your console, play an important role. So just to, as you can see, Miami Vice was the first, as in those are the first show that which went in live in US in stereo. So just to make those stereo audio and all of that, so that people have an idea and they could relate broadcast as just not a video but a audio visual experience as such. So moving on, so there are few pointers which I would like to give for the audio engineers or broadcast engineers or people who are into the broadcast audio stream as such. Few pointers that this is a very basic that I like to touch upon, but I think most of you are familiar with this. But I would still like you to take a note of all these stuff which can come in handy, especially when you are investing in a console as such. So what is the first thing that you need to look into is, especially with broadcast, where the number of outputs are more are given much more importance than the number of inputs, because the fact that you do simultaneous mixes and the kind of things that keeps doing on a broadcast floor. You would want to record, you would want to stream, you would want to take a lot of channels. So the inputs and outputs are the first main thing that you have to be really considerate of, especially when you're picking up a mixing console as such. Then what is sample rate? Sample rate is nothing but your informations per bit as such. So what is, so when you are sending more information is basically more quality. So just to put it in a very layman term, it's is your difference between your standard definition and your high definition or your ultra definition TV. So more information is always the better. So 96 and 48, and now that lot of channels have moved into the 96K, and it has now become the benchmark for audio streaming as such. So, and latency is not something that we would want more. It's something that we would want definitely less when it comes to broadcast as such, because latency adds up to a lot of complications, especially your lip sync and when it comes to relaying your audio with a proper timeline. So you would want less latency coming out of your console. And the other main thing is basically flexibility and footprint for a console, because you want more stuff to happen in a console. in a very smaller footprint or in a very smaller format. So that is when you have to be really considerate, especially when you are picking up a console which can do a lot more, which can give you a lot more for the size that it is. And you know that now that we have moved in from all those MTS, stereo and all of that, now there's different protocols which supports the broadcast audio or audio industry by itself. So you would want all the mail like your Dante, Waves, people who are into using those plugins and people who want to run your audio on Dante. So you would want a console which can support various audio protocols all at the same time. And definitely people who have moved in from analog to digital, you know what a lot of hassle that digital console uh, the hassle has come down, especially with digital console, because of the fact that every processing, so you don't necessarily have to carry your compressor rack, you don't necessarily have to carry your FX units or say your graphic. You want something that you can carry and start your show with just one unit as such. So you would want to have a built-in processing all together. So these are few pointers that I would just wanted to highlight for people who are starting up or who are a little new to audio. For people who have been in the industry, I know this is something that you guys are already known about it, or probably you guys these are some of the basic points that you know. So moving into the products as such. So as you can see, this is SQ, which is being used in one of the broadcast application, and moving into the product by itself. So SQ, like it said, the sound speed, basically for the speed in which the whole processor works. It runs on a FPGA XEVI core. So I'll talk about the FPGA processing a little later. So talking about the form factors of SQ, it comes in three different formats. It's called the SQ5, SQ6, and 7. Pretty much the whole SQ does 5, 6, and 7 all does the same thing. There's no difference as such. It's basically the physical inputs and outputs which are at the back of each console. So let me just take you through a few of the features of SQ as such. So as you can see, it runs on 96 kilohertz sample rate, which is an industry standard right now, and then 48 channel input, 36 buses. So people who are worried about how much outputs I've got, so there you go, you have got 36 buses. So this 12 stereo mixes aux groups. It can either be a stereo or a mono, and then you've got a separate matrix, stereo matrix, 3 stereo matrix which you've got. And also you've got a USB interface where you can do a record and playback of 32 channels on board itself. So you don't really have to worry about having your laptop or say a software which needs to be dedicated for you to do any kind of playback or record as such. So you can do 32 into 32. And of course, talking about network, you've got a 64 into 64 IO port at the back of console where you can put in any of the cards, the networking cards which I'll take you through, and it has got 8 FX engines. So you don't necessarily have to carry your FX racks and other stuff. So one console which can give you up to close 8 FX engines with 4 dedicated sends as such. And of course, the 96-bit mix bus. So you've got better transients on your outputs, and you've got good headroom when it comes to your 96-bit mix bus as such. And talking about latency, 0.7 millisecond. This is right now the best in the world, I would say, because the more latency that you add with every digital equipment in your chain, you're adding latency, and the console you would want the last thing in your console as latency. So 0.7 is the least. And so that's about it with a quick run through of the specs. So moving into the key features of what SQ gives. So SQ drive, so like I said, it's got a multi-track record and playback. So you can do with the latest 1.5, you can do close to 32 channels of recording and playback on the drive itself. So you've got a USB record and play. And so it has got a remote audio as well. So gone are the days where you'll necessarily have to run your analog snake, your XLRs to run your audio. It's got a remote audio port, which is a smart port called the S-Link, which connects to your remote audio devices, which I'll take you through in my upcoming slides. So deep processing ready. So you wouldn't, like I said, so every channel has got its own equalizer. It has got its own compressor, your gate. So every channel by itself, it's completely deep process ready. So right from your FX. So this is a complete bundle or a package by itself. And of course, the digital console these days have come with a capacitive screen. So it's got a 7-inch screen. And so this is the next important thing is basically the phase coherent mixer. So for people who are doing a lot of live and especially using music shows as such, you want your mixes right from your input to output to be completely phase coherent. So you wouldn't want channels going out of phase. So from your input to output, it is a completely phase coherent mixer as such. And talking about digital audio, it has got an AES digital output as well. And moving into the DAW control, SQ can be used as your digital audio, where if you're into studio, you want to do any of your mix mastering and want to control your DAW via your SQ, you can do that. And talking about ME personal mixing, this is mostly for the live bands as such, where people would want to control their own monitoring and they would want to have access to the channels. There's something called the ME personal mixing, ME1 and ME500 from Allen and Heath, which can go directly and you can control over 40 channels over those ME personal mixing, which can go into your SQ. So automatic mic mixer is a very unique feature of Allen and Heath, where especially when it comes to talk shows or conferences, where your gating or your the inputs, the mic that you have connected automatically opens and closes when it comes to when you put it into this particular feature of SQ as such. Then it's gotten very unique chromatic channel metering, where you don't have those. It's got an LED where you can color code to what you want and what dB that it needs to change color. So it has got a very the sensitivity is nice. So you don't have to really worry about, okay, it's hitting red or hitting. So you can set your colors accordingly to what you want. So these are a few of the key features. So after the key features, I just wanted to talk a little bit about FPGA. Okay, we talk about FPGA, XCVI. So what is FPGA XCVI core? So what does this do, this technology as such? So this field programmable gate array is basically not like your chip-based DSPs, where it can be upgraded as such. So you manufacture, and after that you feel something has to be upgraded, your console can be upgraded to the industry standard. So that is the main advantage. You don't feel out of date with your console. So when you have this FPGA processor as such, there is constant upgrade to your system, considering what do we need next. So it is always relevant in the market. So gone are the days when you buy a console and after 2 years you feel that it is out of date. So once you get this console with the FPGA processing, you can upgrade as and when and all the upgrades that comes from Allen and Heath are completely free. All you need to do is just register and keep getting the firmware and keep upgrading. So what does this mean? So 96, like I said, higher resolution audio and less latency. It has got higher quality sound, basically because of more audio is being sampled, better stereo imaging, and less distortion at high frequencies, higher resolution, and better transients. So this is not something very new. I'm just waiting for this slide as such. So just give you a very layman this thing, differentiation is basically like like you said, like your standard definition TV versus your 4K Ultra HD. So this is something that I spoke about earlier, and for those of you who don't like to carry your laptops or who want to do multi-channel recording on the move, SQ Drive helps you. All you need to do is carry a pen drive or a SSD for you to do your flexible multi-track. And automatic mic mixing, like I said, it handles for conference panel talks and TV shows where you don't necessarily have to have an engineer constantly sitting on the console. All you need to do is group your channels and put it into your automatic mic mixer, and the software or the application takes care of itself as to so when someone talks and when it needs to duck and all of that. So that's about with automatic mic mixing. So this is just a quick for those of you who have not seen the console as such. So this is the map, so you can see the screen, the EQ section. So people who are still struggling to move in from analog to digital, this would be a very great platform because it is all right in front of you. So you don't necessarily have to search for keys. So you have all the necessary knobs and all your mix keys and FX sends right in front of you. So looking at the how the looks of the console, so this is the side view and the rear view. So like I said, SQ one platform, different form factors, but the only change from SQ5, 6, and 7 is basically the number of inputs at the back. So so talking about the SQ7, it's basically got, what you see is the SQ7, it has got 32 inputs at the back. And like I said about the IO port, which is a 64 bidirectional, you can have any of those networking cards, which I'm going to show you in some time. And of course the S-Link, and you've got a network port wherein if you have to connect any of your, say you want to do remote audio with your iPad and all of that, you can do all of this stuff. So what is the remote audio option? Remote audio, I think most of you are familiar with this. This is basically nothing but your digital snake. So instead of you running an analog snake, you run a Cat5e or higher, basically Cat5e or Cat6 for you to connect to a stage rack, which gives you both the inputs and outputs in a distance. So the DX protocol runs at 96, which can go over 100, which can go up to 100 meters, and the D Snake, which runs at 48, so it auto upgrades, downgrades. So just to show you, and the ME, no matter what it is, it runs on 48. So you, if you're connecting an ME to any of your Allen and Heath console, it runs on 48 kilohertz. So what are the rack options which are available? This is right there in the this thing as an Allen and Heath page as well. So you can refer. You've got a good variety of input output options, so that I want more inputs, less outputs, or I just want output rack. So you've got everything under the sun for you to play between your racks. And of course, there's something called the DT168, which is a Dante protocol run rack where it runs directly on a Dante network itself. So very easy to remember all of these racks. So all your DX runs on your 96 kilohertz, and your AR/AB runs on your 48 kilohertz as such. So just a small example how it connects. For me to show you how a remote audio works. So you take it out of an S-Link, you connect a couple of DX168, and then you have close to 32 and 16 outputs. So okay, so I want more. So SQ can do 48. So what do I need to do when I have to have 48 inputs and the necessary outputs on the stage? So what it does is the S-Link supports the 32 inputs and 16. So if you want to expand more, all you need to do is buy this hub called the DX hub, which gives you more options for you to connect those DX racks as such. So I'm just going to quickly go through that. So so each hub or each link you can do close to 2 racks at a time. So for you to run redundant systems, so you can get 2 DX hubs as such. So this is typically the setup that you would want, especially when you are splitting a lot of signals across the stage or across your shoot floor or across your any of your say your different broadcast rooms. You want different inputs and outputs. This is something that you might want to have in your channel as such. So you buy a DX hub, and then you can have these 3 of this racks in different rooms as well. So talking about audio network, so I was talking about the 64 bidirectional, which was right at the back of the console. So you've got 3 different platforms for SQ, so which is the SQ Dante. I don't really have to talk about Dante because I think most of you understand Dante network and Dante audio. So and then you got the S-Link, which is a Allen and Heath protocol where you have to connect between 2 SQ consoles, or if you want to do FOH, MOH, you can do it via the SQ S-Link. And then you've got the SQ waves as well. So people who are interested in having wave plugins into your console, all you need to do is buy this card and connect it into your grid directly. So you can have your SQ waves coming into any of the inputs that you want to assign. So fast forward. So this is the last thing that I probably want to talk about SQ. So you've got a couple of apps. So which is basically your SQ mixpad, and so you can give them access for your SQ for you, which is for your instruments or any of someone who's on the shoot floor to adjust few things. You can do that, or SQ mixpad for you to connect into the console. So this is the latest firmware, the SQV 1.5, which was launched in April, and it's been doing really well. So like you said, when it comes to your FPGA, so you can keep upgrading. So people, as and when they want something with the industry standard, Allen and Heath provides you with that firmware so that you feel up to date with the technology. So that's what an FPGA does. So these are the few upgrades which were done over the last firmware. So just giving you a few snapshots of how SQ has been used in few of the, as in shoot floors and broadcasting. You can see SQ here, and some people who want really smaller form factors and who are doing into podcasts. And now that podcasting and all this stuff has become much more relevant, so this is something that you can always look into. And you can see the other rack on the right extreme where Axient digitals are being used with the SQ5 for a shoot floor. So people who are into sync sound, people who are into doing live stream from a particular shoot floor, so you can possibly look into options like this. So next, moving into Aventis. Aventis is the latest, which was, so just to give you some history, this was launched at the last Broadcast India show. So this was one of the favorite products when it came to audio in the last Broadcast India show, and a lot of people came in. We had the first console in India at the Broadcast India show. So this is basically for people who want more input channel count and more outputs. So so this is placed, for those of you who know Allen and Heath, this is placed in between the D-Live, which is our flagship console, and the SQ. So this you can see it is a completely continuous user interface with 215.6 full HD touchscreens. So when I say full HD, you got to see it first to know what's the clarity of it, because it's as good as your laptop screens. So it is much more interactive, I would say, when it comes to using these touchscreens as such. And some of the key features: 64 channel and 42 bus. So when I say 42, it is not a fixed architecture. It is a completely configurable. So say for one of your show, I want these many number of auxes but less matrices. But another show, I need more matrices or more groups. It's a completely configurable architecture. So according to your show, you can make your show file basically like how you do it in your DAW. Set up your own as in show. So yeah. So talking about 15.6 full HD touchscreens, you can see you got to. So we have got consoles here in Chennai and Bombay and Delhi. So for people who are wanting to have hands-on, who want to try it in your channel or any of your shows, please feel free to uh, hit up with Sun Infonet, either me or Rohit, to get in, because I can talk as much as I want about the console and what it does, but nothing like having a feel of the console for yourself. So again, it's deep process enabled. It has got 12 stereo FX engines, and it's got again an S-Link port. So, and about the networking, so it's again 128, it's not 64, so it's 128 bidirectional, and you've got 2 ports. So at a time, say if you want a Dante waves all running, you can put in both those cards running at the same time. And for multi-tracking, there's no USB. The USB can do a stereo recording, but for multi-tracking, you need to opt for a networking card like your Dante. So this is something interesting because this went into a little R&D, like a lot of R&D, I would say, when it comes to the fader elimination, because it's a very small factor, but it can help a long way, especially when it comes to broadcasting, because of the fact that this fader you wouldn't want, especially when you have a show happening right in front of you, or when there's someone like your host doing a show, you wouldn't want light coming on your face, but you would want light happening over just your console, as in the faders which you want to look at. So the fader illumination is from the bottom, so you don't really have to worry about the light hitting you, but all the necessary knobs which got to be lit are perfectly lit. So I'm just stressing on it because there's a lot of R&D which went into this. So full metal chassis. So for the road, so for you to carry around, for you to do all your live shows, or say any of your stay in your truck, you keep traveling and you are doing live streaming across different cities. Probably this is your tour ready kind of uh, console. So just the back panel, it has got 12 analog inputs, and it's got a stereo AES as well, and it has got 12 analog outputs and 2 stereo AES. So for you to have more inputs and outputs, you have to opt in for this thing, as in the remote audio racks, which is a passive rack. And like I said, audio networking slots, network, wrestling. So anything that you want uh, from a good audio digital console is there right in front of you. So you don't have to really worry about options as such. Okay, so continuous UI, a lot of people are basically from both studio and live. So people who like studio, they like a lot of touch sensitive way of working. So for people who are more into live, they always like to have faders. So we have not disappointed both. So there's both touch as well as knobs. So for any engineer who is from different streams of their workflow, will be able to easily maneuver this console in day one itself. So talking about I/O, again, it's got various options. So I'm not going to take much of time with the product because I know we are overshooting a bit of time, and we've got some time to Q&A also. So I'm just going to run through the option cards. So it is, you've got a MADI, you've got a Giga ACE, you've got Waves. So all these cards are compatible with your this thing as in the console. So anything that you want, you can pick and choose, and you can have your audio networking done on these cards. Again, one mix and mixpad apps for you to control your Aventis for remote purposes, especially when you're moving around, especially on the shoot floor where you can't have access to your console. These are some of the apps that you would want to have, especially when you're doing some rigorous shows as such. So this is just a representational purpose. So please note it's just to show you where we are at with the competition. So so I'm just going to leave it to you for you to compare and see where Aventis is when it comes to the different consoles in the market, and so what are the advantages that we have over the different consoles as such. So talking about input channels, effects, input outputs, and USB recording, the latency, DCAs, MCAs, you have everything. So if you've got any doubts or something, hit me up or Rohit for questions later on. So just to give you a little perspective of what Alan and Heath is in the Indian broadcast industry. So these are the shows and few of the channels that been using Alan and Heath over these many years. So this is basically channels which are using a lot of Alan and Heath products, right from the SQ to Aventis to D-Live. So just to give you some perspective. And yeah, so I just had to rushing through just to come to this point of Q&A for Rohit and I to take. So if there are any questions on the floor, and because I didn't have a look at the chat box, so we would be happy to address to any of the questions. Manoj.
Hi. Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi. So thanks Rohit and Jaikaran. That was really insightful on the role that Shure microphones and Alan and Heath consoles play in broadcast audio. Before we take questions, we've received some from before as well. So I would just like to introduce Mr. Manoj Madhavan, who will be just taking us through the entire question and answer section for this afternoon. Manoj is the editor of Broadcast and Film, and that's the official online publication for the Broadcast India show. So yeah, Manoj, over to you.
Yeah, hi Rohit. I'm just trying to get my video. Yeah. So Rohit, the first question to you, we understand that the telecom ministry has postponed the 700 megahertz spectrum bandwidth for 5G. So what is the bandwidth of Shure microphones, and how smartly does the microphone adapt in terms of the bandwidth? If you can.
So when it comes to, so that's the most important thing. Telecom industry has forced forward the auction for the 700 megahertz. So we as a company, we have, we read this information, or we were following this since since 2 years, and we actually stopped importing, this bands of microphones. So this is how we actually try to, we were damage controlling the situation. When it comes to the Action Digital part of, answering the question. So when this spectrum shrinks, we are left with a very minimal spectrum from 480 onwards to 680. And the number of wireless channels are increasing. So we need a system which can actually handle, which is more spectrum efficient, like number of simultaneous channels in a smaller spectrum. And also when the spectrum shrinks, there would be more and more, RF interferences and stuff like that. So that's where the Axiom Digital, during my presentation, I was saying that, that's where it kicks in. It's got the system on the end and the intelligence to actually take care of the RF interference, especially the ADX washing, where if the system finds an interference, it seamlessly, within milliseconds jumps into a new carrier wave. So that's how efficient the system is.
Another question for you, Rohit. What are the critical parameters for choosing the right Shure microphone for television broadcast and radio applications?
The first important thing is to understand, first thing when you plan to choose your microphone is to understand how many number of channels will you be, will you be using, and also to consider your future, your future investments into the wireless system. Like for example, we have got, the BLX system, which can actually, you can have for 12 microphones simultaneously using simultaneously in one band. So imagine if right now you have got a situation of requirement of only 12, then you just blindly go into the BLX, and then later in after a year, then you actually think of, okay, I want more microphones, I have to invest on more microphones. Then that would actually be too late, because you've already made your investments in the BLX. So in that case, you have to be enough, you have to think about your forecast investments, and then choose the right microphone model to actually cater your requirement.
Coming to you, Jaykaran, I understand that Allen and Heath Academy offers formal training across a broad range of Allen and Heath products. Do you have something similar in India where any of the broadcast engineers want to have some training on your mixing consoles? Do you all offer that kind of training?
Yeah, of course. We have been doing that with as in region wise as such. So especially when people come to us, or when a product is launched as such with a product, we do conduct such training so that people even before the product is launched, there's some bit of awareness, there's a bit of education which we do as mainly being Sun Infonet being in different parts of countries. I would say pan-India, since our presence is all across the country, we make sure that we educate people on the consoles and create that awareness so that they don't have issues while handling it on a real-time basis. So even when they have issues, so not every console is going to be as in the first time it's going to be the interface is going to be very familiar for people. So especially when it comes to sound engineers who have been working with different console, the transition for them is going to be a little difficult. So that's where Allen and Heath, the interface by itself has made itself simple, so that people right from the analog age can transition completely. And Sun Infonet has been doing a lot of training programs as such across the country and cities, enlightening them about the things that they need to be careful of, especially when they are handling consoles as such.
There's one last question. What about maintenance of twin plex, since two capsules are involved? Who would like to take that?
Yeah, I will answer that. So maintenance of twin plex is, absolutely there's no maintenance for the twin plex, because the microphone cap, it comes with a super hydrophobic a cap which is sweat resistant, and it's sweat resistant and water resistant. So when it comes to maintenance, absolutely there is no there's no need of it's long lasting. When it comes to the cable, also it's a completely medical grade cable used in this microphone. So it's very effective, and it's it's resistant to any kind of a memory forming on the cable. So it's just the capsule. It's just the caps which are completely changeable, and even the frequency response of these microphones can be changed by changing these caps. When you buy full accessories, with the twin plex, then you get all these frequency caps along with the microphone.
Okay, one last question. This is not related to broadcast. This is for Jaykaran. Film mixing is big in India. So does Allen and Heath address that segment of the market also for film mixing?
Of course. So when it comes to consoles as such, so there's nothing that so every mixing console can do what it can do. It's basically how you apply it and how you put forth those products in those lines as well. So you see a lot of I still see a lot of people who are still stuck up with analog. It's not like they have been outdated as such. They still use those because they like the sound of it. So it is not like we come up with a product for a particular segment or a particular, say this is what it can do, because once you develop a product for a particular segment, it becomes too streamlined to that particular that particular uh, industry as such. So what we do is develop a mixing console which can handle everything all at the same time. So when it comes to Alan and Heath, typically for all your live shows, your broadcasting shows, and why not? Because since it can do all your DAW controls, it can still be used for all your film mixing as well.
Perfect. So that's all from my side. Over to you, Pranali.
Thank you so much. Jaykaran, if I can just request you to put on the slide with your contact details, just in case anybody has any questions that they would like to address directly to you all.
Yeah, one second.
There you go, everyone. That's the contact details for Sun Infonet, Rohit and Jaykaran. In case you guys have questions, please feel free to send them an email. They'll be happy to help you with that. Coming to the end of this session, I would really like to thank Rohit and Jaykaran and Manoj for your really insightful session on broadcast audio this afternoon. Really some really good knowledge sharing, I think, which is what was the aim of this session that we had. I hope you all enjoyed that. To end things this evening, we at the Broadcast India show would really like to thank Sun Infonet, Shure and Alan and Heath once again. The show that we have gets its reputation because of these kind of brands that continue to support us over the years, for which we really cannot thank them enough. So thank you for everyone for logging in today. Please follow us on our social media handles, which will come up on the screen in a bit, for more updates and on the show and about forthcoming webinars that we may have. Stay safe and take care, and thank you and have a really good evening.